Hi there, I'm Doug Baker. I'm a yoga teacher and a therapist in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And this is a video that a number of my clients have been asking me for and kind of teasing me that it's taken me so long to get this online. It's a meditation video for self-regulation. So I'm going to slide myself back so you can see my body posture a little bit and take off my spectacles. And let's begin. So find yourself a balanced and seated comfortable position, and let the feet be about hip width apart, and let the hands rest easily in the lap, like so or like so. So take a moment to sit and check out. You might even look down at your feet and check out your physical posture. Make it comfortable, balanced, and stable, symmetrical. Basically, feet equidistant apart and legs more or less coming straight out from the hips. And then lengthen up nice and tall through the spine. So lifting right through the core, bring your sternum slightly forward. And you want to bring a slight curve forward in your low back. So often people will, including myself, will sit slouched in this manner. So what we're doing is just getting the crown of the head just maybe about an inch or so closer to the ceiling. Lengthening up, bringing some greater length into the spine. That's an optimal position for dignity, self-esteem, and for the nervous system to function at a more optimal position, a more optimal way. So find your way into that position. Don't work too hard at the lifting and lengthening if that's new to you, but make some effort. And it's okay if after a while you notice yourself unable to sustain that position and you need to lean back in your seat. That's totally fine. So from there, invite the shoulders to relax. Notice if the muscles in the shoulders are gripping in any way that isn't needed for this position. And invite those big muscle groups all through the shoulders here to soften and release their grip. And then the same in the arms. Invite them to let go. And then finally in the hands, notice if you're holding any tension or gripping in the hands, which is neither right or wrong. But here we are inviting a different pattern, one of balanced alertness, relaxed alertness, not holding tight in a kind of a habitual way, which can be part of long-term stress patterns. And then bring the awareness up to the muscles in the face. And notice what you feel here. And here, bring the eyelids together, gently closing the eyes. And notice what the face feels like. And here there are something like 300 different muscle groups in the face that we use to create all the expressions that we do. So here, take your time and really slow down your investigation to notice, what do you feel in the muscles in the face? Is there a grip or an expression being held in the forehead, around the eyebrows, around the eyes themselves? Notice if there's any grip there in any of these places, and invite it to wash out. Invite the face to release any gripping or any expression that it may be holding. And if anything doesn't release, don't force it. Just invite the release. And then for the lower half of the face, notice here too if anything's being held. Around the mouth, the cheeks, and especially the lower jaw. And invite the lower jaw to just hang like a hammock, hanging between two trees. Just let it hang there. Notice what it feels like to sit in this position where you are balancing effort, and staying tall through the spine, but the surrender as well. This is the embodiment of a psychological state that is very beneficial. Making an effort to be present. We're doing some work within ourselves, but we're letting go of the things that we can't control. We're surrendering to things that it's not fruitful to control. Here, letting go in big muscle groups that don't need to be working in this position. Bring your awareness next to the breath. And begin by simply noticing the fact of the breath. Here is my breath. Notice it coming into the lungs and going out. Notice what it feels like. Notice the sensations that happen with the breath. And then begin to deepen the breath. As you breathe in, invite the breath to come in more fully and fill the lungs more completely. And as you exhale, invite a fuller emptying of the lungs. As you breathe in, allow the lungs to expand and fill up. And as you exhale, feel the natural contraction in the lungs. If it's difficult to breathe more fully, don't force a fuller breath, but invite one. See if you can coax or lead the body in that direction. Invite the muscles in the chest to flex and relax as the breath comes in and the lungs expand. And you might finish the exhale with a little squeeze on the belly, as if you're expelling the air, partly with the belly muscles. Continue this breath, and when you feel you have a hang for it, you've got the hang of it, next, invite the breath to take a regular rhythm. And see if you can move towards a rhythm of about 5 seconds for the inhale and 5 seconds for the exhale. Or it might be 3 seconds and 3 seconds, or 7 seconds, 7 seconds. But work into a regular, balanced rhythm if you can. And focus the awareness to follow the breath, to feel the sensations of the breath, and now to regulate the timing of the breath. Each time the mind wanders, as it will, probably many, many times, no problem. Simply resume where you left off. And congratulate yourself for noticing that you've wandered. That moment of noticing that you've wandered is very valuable. It's the moment of a little awakening each time we do it. It's like, oh great, I'm awake again. I've noticed that I've wandered off into some thinking. Great, now I can return. Fantastic. Following this steady, or steady enough rhythm with the breath, now build in a little pause after the inhale before you exhale of about 1 or 2 seconds. So your breath pattern might be 5 seconds in, pausing about 2 seconds, 5 seconds to exhale. Notice if that changes the experience for you to pause. The pause is the embodiment of waiting, trusting that there is enough time, there is enough air, that you can wait before you move into the next cycle of exhaling. Continue the steady breath in, pausing, the steady breath out. Each time the mind wanders, guide the awareness back to the breath. Continuing to lengthen up right through the core, lifting through the crown of the head. Keep inviting the shoulders and the hands and the face to let go of any tension. And follow the breath. Your task is, as you breathe in, to know that you're breathing in. As you breathe out, know that you're breathing out. When the mind wanders, know that the mind has wandered and bring it back to the breath. No matter how much the mind wanders. Let there be no frustration. This is a natural tendency of the mind. The retraining happens in simply coming back. This is the building of a new pattern of attention. Following the breath, coming back to the breath. And then staying aware of the breath, also notice what you feel in your torso. Notice if there are any emotions or sensations present. Or perhaps you can feel certain energies. There might be agitation or maybe fatigue. So staying mindful of the breath, also notice what your subjective inner experience is like, emotionally or energetically. And whatever you notice there, allow it to be there. And then come back to breath. Come back to the simplicity of your practice. Simply to notice and follow the rhythm. Staying aware of the breath, also notice what thoughts go through the mind or how often they come. Notice thoughts. And do your best not to be pulled into them entirely, not to follow them. And then come back to the breath. And continue the steady rhythm. About 5 seconds in, pausing, and 5 seconds out. And if there are any urges or preferences that come up, like wishing that your mind was more quiet, or wishing that somehow the meditation or my description was somehow different, notice those. Notice those desires or likes or dislikes, preferences. And let them be there. Simply notice them. And then come back to breath. And follow the breath. And return to the breath again and again. And finish up your practice for today by following 2 or 3 more cycles of the inhale, pause, exhale. And on an exhale, let go of any control of the breath. As you release the last exhale, let the breath follow a natural pattern of its own. And sit with yourself before you move or open the eyes and notice how you feel. Collect your data, meaning notice the effects of the practice on you today, however subtle or modest the effects may be. So don't believe what the teachers tell you about how this practice might affect you. Notice for yourself how you feel different in any way from when you started. Collecting this data will probably help to support and embolden your practice. Last thing to do, last couple of things. Notice what you see in the darkness behind the closed eyelids. In the darkness there, notice if there are also colors or patterns or shapes. This is the practice of looking very carefully inside to notice patterns that might be overlooked. And then finally, as slowly as you can, ridiculously slowly, begin to separate the eyelids and watch carefully as the external visual information begins to stream in again. Do it slowly, slowly if you can. And as the eyes open, notice the process of seeing externally again. Notice what it's like to see. Notice the process of seeing more than what is seen. And notice how you feel. So a quick summary of the intention of this practice. We might call this practice building the container. We do it by setting up the body and the awareness and the breath as a kind of balanced, stable container. We build stable patterns, stable enough, not rigid, but stable, resilient, somewhat flexible, but stable and steady patterns on these three levels of our bodily systems: body, breath, and awareness. And then those stable layers become kind of a container, sort of a vessel. Within that vessel, we allow our feelings, our thoughts, our sensations, our urges, opinions, likes and dislikes to arise. And in our awareness, we just watch them. So we build this container for ourselves, and then we let go of whatever arises inside of it. We let it be what it is. And our position is as the observer, the witness of these experiences that we don't need to control. Thank you for your practice today. I hope it's been helpful, and hopefully see you soon in person or on YouTube.